this is Jenny from Homestead Corner, and today we're going to make this simple, delicious farmer's cheese. It's really easy to make, so let's get started. Alright, for this recipe, you're only going to need 3 ingredients. Some whole milk, vinegar, and salt. That's it. You're going to need a heavy bottom with a thick bottom on it, a saucepan, a strainer, and another bowl to catch your way, cheesecloth, measuring cup, and I like a wooden spoon for this. Alright, so this really is the easiest cheese in the history of the world, I think. So I'm going to take my ½ gallon of milk, and I'm just going to put it right in the pot, the whole thing. You can double this recipe or triple it or whatever. It will work with any amounts. But I'm just doing a ½ gallon because this is going to make right about 2 cups of cheese. So we've got our ½ gallon of milk in there, and we're going to turn this on a medium heat, and we are going to just heat this up. We do not want to bring this to a boil. We just want to get it really hot just before the boil. So I am going to heat this up, and we'll be back in a few moments. Okay, so you want to keep your eye on this. You want to stay right close to it because you do not want to scorch this. But you can see right here, we're starting to get little bubbles and like a little bit of foam. I'm not sure if you can see that, but we're starting to get that little bit of foam. And I don't normally use a thermometer anymore, but I did for the sake of this video. You want this about up to 190 degrees. You don't want this to boil because you'll scorch your milk and then it will taste awful. But you just want to bring this up really slow and just keep giving it a stir here and there. You want to make sure you keep stirring it around. So it will develop a little film on top if you don't, and that's okay. It's not going to hurt it at all, but I just like to keep stirring it here and there, and I just watch for these little foamy bubbles and stuff. And then once it gets, you can see when it's right just to the point that it's going to boil, and you want to stop it and take it off the heat at that point. Okay, so you can see the bubbles are just starting to pop, and it's a little foamy on top. So, and we're just about at 190 degrees on the thermometer. So we're going to turn the heat off and pull this off the burner. Okay, so right when we pull this off the burner, we're going to add our ¼ cup of white vinegar to this. And right away, we're going to start to see curds. You want to give this a good stir. And we can already see the curds starting to form here. So we're going to give this a nice good stir, and then we're going to let it sit for 15 minutes. Okay, so after about 15 minutes, you can see that the curds and whey have really separated really well. And you can get a nice little scoop of those curds. So now we are going to add, if you want to add any flavoring, now's the time to do it. You can do this with nothing, or I'm just going to add a little bit of fresh basil to this that I cut up, and I'm just going to put that in there. But you can use anything you like. You could do a garlic and onion. I've done rosemary and thyme. There's just so many combinations, and whatever you like in your cheese, depending on what you plan on using it for, you can add that right in. So we're just going to put this right in there, and we're going to add our salt. I'm going to put about ½ teaspoon in here, but you can go up to a teaspoon of salt. The recipe calls for a teaspoon, but I'm not a big salty fan, so we're just going to give this another good stir and get this basil all in there. And make sure everything is mixed up nice. Okay, so I just use a big glass bowl because I want to save this whey. I don't want to lose this whey because you can use it for so many different things. It's great to make lemonade. When you're cooking any grains, potatoes, rice, you can add it to that just to add more nutrition to it. It's really great. And you can also use it for a starter culture if you're fermenting. So I'm just adding this, just a big strainer. I'm going to stick it right in the bowl so I can strain all the liquid down into the bowl. And I've got 2 layers of cheesecloth here. And we're just going to pour everything right into the cheesecloth. So we're just going to pour this right in. So all that whey goes right into our bowl. But the cheesecloth is going to hold all those curds for us. Alright, so we just want this to sit just for a couple of minutes and all this liquid can drain. And then we're going to gather up our cheesecloth and we're just going to give this a twist and a little squeeze. This is still pretty hot, so we're just going to give it a squeeze and get some of the liquid out there. And you can see there's quite a bit of liquid in those curds. So we just want to do this until we get the liquid out. And I don't like to take too much out. If you take too much out and it's too dry and crumbly, then you can add a little bit more of the whey back in. Right about there is how I normally do this. Okay, so now I just open this up a little bit. I just want to expose the top of this cheese so I can get in here. And you can see how it is. So you can take a fork, you can test it right now and see if it's salty enough. You could add a little bit more salt here. You just want to make sure you mix it in really good. Make sure if it's too dry, right now you can add a tablespoon of whey back into it if you feel like it's too dry and crumbly. But this is just about the right moisture, how I like it. So, and the herbs are in there really nice. They're mixed in really good. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to wrap this back up. And I'm going to grab 2 small plates. Or big plates, whatever you like. We're just going to wrap this back up. And I'm going to give it a little twist. Not to get any more liquid out. But you can see right there. And then I'm going to take a small plate, just a small little plate, and I'm going to put this with the knot down and have this hanging off the side. And then we're just going to form our cheese now. And I'm going to take another plate and we're just going to press this down. So it is 1 inch to 2 inches thick. And this is just going to give us a nice form for our cheese. And I'm going to take this whole thing and stick it in the fridge, and we're going to leave it there for about an hour, and then we'll take it out and see what we got. Okay, so our cheese has been in the refrigerator for about an hour, and it is nice and formed, and we can now open this up and get our cheese out. Okay, so you can cut some of this for crackers. This is wonderful on bruschetta. And oh, there, it sticks right to it. There's a nice little piece you can see. Nice solid piece of cheese. It is just delicious on crackers. It's great for bruschetta, all kinds of stuff, however you like to have it. And that is it. Just some beautiful, easy, homemade farm cheese. Simple and delicious. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.